The warning shot comes as U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris is set to travel to Vietnam later this month to strengthen relationships and expand economic cooperation. Also, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin completed a two-day visit to Hanoi on Thursday where he tried to strengthen political ties between the two nations. Vietnam disputes China's vast nine-line claim over the South China Sea, which encroaches on Hanoi's maritime territory. Beijing has been constructing artificial fortified islands in the maritime region and prohibiting ocean-going vessels from free passage through it. On Thursday, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said in a speech to the International Institute for Strategic Studies that Beijing's claim to the vast majority of the South China Sea has no basis in international law. That assertion treads on the sovereignty of states in the region, he added. Beijing is not happy about the U.S. visit to its southern neighbor. The Chinese state-run Global Times stated, Austin's visit was the first to Vietnam by a high-ranking U.S. official since U.S. President Joe Biden took office in January. However, it then took comfort in its assertion that no actual progress has been made in U.S.-Vietnam bilateral relations. The online news platform then suggested when it comes to Washington's diplomacy in Southeast Asia, the U.S. seems to be obsessed with being two-faced. According to the Chinese Communist Party (CCP) mouthpiece, this duplicity is expressed by the U.S. simultaneously leveling unreasonable sanctions to provoke China and saying that it is committed to pursuing a constructive, stable relationship with China. The Global Times goes on to state such hypocrisy cannot hide the most virulent geopolitical goals of the U.S.-China policies. The propaganda platform for the CCP states their suspicion that the U.S. is now seriously thinking about how to make full use of this ideal tool to contain China. According to Beijing, this containment comes in the form of the Biden administration using Vietnam's South China Sea dispute with China as good leverage to lure Hanoi to side with the U.S. But, the Global Times maintains that however hard the U.S. tries to win over Hanoi it will keep a distance from Washington, as Vietnam is reluctant to provoke China. The tabloid insists the U.S. aims to portray itself as the guardian of regional security and regional countries' interests but that this is only a ploy to create problems for Beijing's ambitions in the South China Sea. Li Kaisheng, a research fellow and deputy director at the Institute of International Relations of the Shanghai Academy of Social Sciences, speaking to the Global Times said, the U.S. says it does not want Southeast Asian countries to take sides, but it is asking other countries to side with it to jointly contain China. Vietnam is clear about such intent, and it knows better than any other regional countries the risk of being involved in the campaign. The Global Times ended its op-ed by warning the U.S. that if it continues to stir up the South China Sea issue and add fuel to the fire, forcing Southeast Asia to get on its chariot against China, it may be disappointed no matter how hard the U.S. manipulates. Both the U.S. and China have had costly wars against Vietnam in the 20th century. Both powers ultimately failed in their objectives.